Hello, my name is Ricardo, and I'm going to be telling you my again careers week about what I did today really. So in today's careers week, we had Myriam Raja. I hope I said her name right, and if you're watching this, I'm so sorry if I got it wrong. But yeah, we had a little industry talk first. We in the theater, and it was basically Q&As. We asked our questions. I had some questions down ready I wanted to ask her, and I can give you some examples, but they're probably on my YouTube right now. What's crazy as well is that some people in that class already had some questions, well, had the questions which I had as well. So I was like, oh, okay, well, I might as well let them take over. Like, questions I had was, I'll give an example, is when if an actor's not in a good mood, what how would you expect them to like gain their energy back on stage? Because like you know, like if you have like an off day or you're just not in the mood, I know it's not really an excuse, so they can have like a 5 minute break, but in reality it's more like we got to get this filming, so let's just do this. Another question is, what do you reckon actors should do if they want to be in the film industries? And I got a good answer from that. It was actually just generally watch a bunch of different variety of movies and basically just like gain intel from how people act, or just look at how people are acting, or just like how do they tell a story, how do they make the audience be like, wow, that was some really good acting. Like, what do they have which is so special? What do they give to the table? What do they put into the table really? Like, for some reason, when you watch, like, I don't know, Morgan Freeman, as soon as you see him on screen, you're like, I know this is gonna be a good movie. But that's another example. Another example I asked was oh, sorry, any sorry. Another question I asked was, when you're casting someone, would you look into like what? Sorry, my mum's calling me and I can see it above it. It's kind of threw me off a bit. Sorry, but when you're casting someone for like a new movie or play or whatever, like any audition, um, what do you look into? Like, what would you look into? Like, what stands out to you? Why would you choose these people? Like, what makes you go like, wow? And I think the answer is mainly just like what if they can tell a story, and if they're fully prepared, you can tell they're fully prepared, and just manners as well. Like, they got to be well. They got to be nice people. If you don't have manner, then I'm sorry. Then the director, the producers, the crew, the whole camera crew don't want to work with someone who's very difficult. So yeah, I just simple questions I asked them really, and then we watched some little clips from Top Boy as well, because she, if you guys didn't know, she directed Top Boy, and she just basically told us the experience it was for her. How does she feel? Thoughts going in her head, and just stuff like that. Really, the experience of just directing, and honestly, it is. Oh, and her background as well. Honestly, it is intense as well, because afterwards we finished our Q&As, we then got some scripts, and my class was directing. Um, excuse me. My class was directing some other people, so like the younger years, and I was the first ones up. I was like, oh gosh. So me directing in front of lots of people is like, wow, that's very nerve wracking. And to be honest, that's how she probably felt the first time she was directing in front of a huge cast, like the cast, the camera crew. Like, there's so many things, like just so many eyes watching you when you're like telling people what to do. And what I did as well, which it happens, or it happens a lot, is when, in fact, I'm doing it right now actually, I become very apologetic. So, like, if I'm giving instruction, I'm like, so do you mind if we try this instead, please? If that's fine with you. Like, I'm very apologetic. Yes, it's good to be nice and sweet, because as teachers do say, I'm a sweet person, and I it generally does happen. But you also got to be like firm as well, because if you're too soft, then they're just gonna simply walk over me, and who knows what's gonna happen really. So you gotta have that balance between nice and friendly, which I am, which is good, but also be like, I want to get this work done. I don't have time for any foolishness. Time's the essence, really. That's the main thing when directing. Like, you only get a limited of time, so you kind of want to make sure things are going according to plan. So yeah, really. And most of the stuff which when it comes to directing, I already know. So like, don't give them too much because it will overload their brain, or make sure they're good. Make sure my actors are okay. So like, when it's giving feedback, mention what they did well first. Like, make them feel good about themselves, and then you can like slowly be like, so for example, if I'm giving a directing you, for example, I'd be like, so that was great character choice you did. I liked the improvisation you did. I enjoyed your the scene was very intense, but can we make sure we don't lose it when we get to this line? Thank you very much, blah blah blah. Okay, let's, yeah, and then we'll just go again, really. And yeah, that's when I see it, really. The play which I was given was We Lost Elijah. It was a scene where it's Grace and it begins with a Malachi. Yeah, Malachi. So it's a scene where Grace has just locked Elijah in the shed, and Elijah's comes in and he's freaking out over his friend. He's like, "Where's my friend? What is it? His friend? I think it's a friend. Where's my friend? If it's not friend, it's brother. But we can say brotherly love. Who knows? He's looking for his brotherly friend, and what I did was I told my actors to read through the script first. Tell me your thoughts about it, if you like the script, of course. And then I said, how do you think these characters are feeling right now? And they'll tell me like what's going on. And I'm like, okay, boom. So I say, for instance, they said like, oh, I feel like this person is very like, they just don't really care. It's like they're, what's the word? Well, in this scene, it's like they just don't really care. So I said to them, okay, between this paragraph and that paragraph, name me some emotions of how do you think they're feeling? And they'll be like, okay, well, I feel like they're jealous, they're a bit guilty, or like they're very scared or worried, anxious, uneasy, like on the edge, who knows? So I said, okay, well, you got your emotions there. Of course, I don't want you to play the emotion. I want you to feel it. I want you to understand your character. So even if your character's in the wrong, I still want you to be like, oh no, I support this character, because you can't really be someone who you're like, I totally disagree with what they're doing, because otherwise it wouldn't work. So I just told that with them, and actually we made a really good scene by giving a minimum of time. We made a really good scene having just those little bits of information. So I think directing is good. It's a fun thing. I do want to still do directing, but I think I need to not overthink it and just be less apologetic too, because I do have an image in my head that it's just like I'm too afraid to let it out once I'm seeing eyes just everywhere. But I am working on it, so it's all good. And yeah, so that was today. And yeah, so hope you guys enjoyed, and see you next time.